Good evening, everybody. I, Rudy Lopez, the president of the governing board, call this special board meeting of the San Ysidro School District to order at 5:01 p.m. I would like to ask that all members of the board mute their devices at this time. Trustees of San Ysidro School District Board and the public shall participate in this meeting via teleconference. The public may view the open session part of this meeting by accessing the YouTube link provided on the agenda. To listen to this meeting in Spanish, please call area code 470-310-0974 and enter the access code 925-283-914#. Para escuchar esta junta en español, por favor, marque el número 470-310-0974 y ingrese el código 925-283-914, signo de gato. Members of the public are welcome to record this meeting using their own personal devices. Prior to roll call, I would like to make clear for the record of this meeting, and it should be reflected in the minutes, that this governing board meeting is conducted pursuant to AB 361 and resolution number 22/23-0017. I will now ask the superintendent and secretary to the board, Dr. Potter, to conduct a roll call for attendance.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Moving on to agenda item number 2, which is the roll call, beginning with board member, Ms. Zenaida Rosario.
Present.
And board member, Mr. Antonio Martinez.
Present.
Thank you. And board clerk, Mrs. Irene Lopez.
Present.
Thank you. And our board vice president, Mrs. Rosalia Palasigue. Okay, absent. And our board president, Mr. Rudy Lopez.
Here.
Mr. President, you do have a quorum of 4.
Thank you. I would now like to request that each board member respond to the following questions. Ms. Rosario, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Were you able to hear our proceedings on this end until now?
Yes.
And do you have a copy of the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Were you able to hear our proceedings on this end until now?
Yes.
And do you have a copy of the agenda for this meeting?
Yes.
Ms. Lopez, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Were you able to hear our proceedings on this end until now?
Yes.
And do you have a copy of tonight's agenda?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 3 is the flag salute. Please join me in the flag salute. We will be displaying a picture of the flag on screen. I would ask those in the meeting, including other board members, to please mute themselves to avoid feedback during the salute. Ready, begin. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, the agenda. I will now ask each board member if they have any corrections or additions to the agenda. For this item and all other items on the agenda, I will give each board member an opportunity to speak by addressing each board member in turn. Please make sure to unmute your device before speaking. Ms. Rosario, do you have any corrections or additions to the agenda?
No corrections or additions to the agenda.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez
No.
and Ms. Lopez.
No.
Thank you. I have no changes to the agenda for tonight's meeting. I will now ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I second it.
Mr. Martinez makes the motion and Ms. Lopez is the second. Dr. Potter, can you please conduct a roll call vote?
Thank you, Mr. President. Conducting the roll call vote for agenda item number 4, approval of the agenda, beginning with a board member, Zenaida Rosario.
Yes, I approve.
Thank you. Board member Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
Thank you. Board clerk Irene Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you. And Board President Rudy Lopez.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote passes 4-0.
thank you. Moving on to item number 5, public comments, communications on open session items. Mr. Mata, do we have any any communication for this item?
Good evening, Mr. President. We do not have any public comments at this time.
Thank you very much. We will move on to item number 6, and 6.1 is the project labor agreement with the San Diego County Building and Construction Trade Council for measures T and U.
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Martinez. Do I have a second?
I
I'll
second.
second it.
Ms. Rosario, I'll take yours. I'm going to go through each board member and ask if you have any questions or comments. Dr. Potter, is there a presentation?
There is no presentation. However, I will ask our Chief Business Official, Marilyn Adrianzen, and also our legal counsel for the general obligation bond projects, Tyree Dorwood from Best Best and Krieger, if they have any comments.
Thank you. We'll take their comments before we move on to the board members.
So at this time, we are submitting a amended project labor agreement, which will change or revise the amount from $15 million threshold to $1 million. So any project construction or rehabilitation renovation work awarded to contractors which exceed $1 million are covered by the terms of this agreement.
And Ms. Adrianzen, for the record, this project labor agreement, it's not new. I mean, it's not an amended agreement. It's rather the first time that we have a project labor agreement. It's the threshold amount that we added in from the board's guidance to staff last Thursday during their regular board meeting, which makes the threshold amount 1 million. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you so much, Ms. Adrianzen. And to our legal counsel, Mr. Dorwood, do you have any comments?
No real substantive comments. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Just happy to be here and be available to answer any technical questions you might have. I think you've been briefed on the process that staff and legal counsel went through in terms of drafting and preparing the agreement. So just happy to answer any questions or try to address any technical issues you might have.
Thank you to our Chief Business Official and our legal counsel. I'll go through each member now. Ms. Rosario, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I do not.
Mr. Martinez?
No, just the comment that I have is the same comment that I made last Thursday. This is the right thing to do. We want to make sure that the money that we're spending on these projects actually stays in the community.
Ms. Lopez?
No.
Thank you very much. I'll call for the vote. Dr. Potter, can you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. President. Calling for the roll call vote for agenda item 6.1, beginning with board members Zenaida Rosario.
I vote yes.
Thank you. Board member Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
Thank you. Board clerk Irene Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you. And board president Rudy Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. President, the vote passes 4-0.
Thank you, Dr. Potter. So I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 5:10 p.m.
So moved.
I second.
I have a motion by Mr. Martinez and a second by Ms. Rosario to adjourn tonight's meeting at 5:10 p.m. Dr. Potter, can you call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. President. Calling for the roll call vote for agenda item number 7, which is adjournment, beginning with board member Zenaida Rosario.
Yes.
Board member Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
Board clerk Irene Lopez.
Yes.
Board president Rudy Lopez.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote passes 4-0 to adjourn the meeting at 5:10 p.m.
Thank you very much. And with that,